or 15 seconds in stream starts before I do plugs from now on. It really doesn't make sense to do it when nobody's probably in here. Do. Shyvana ban. Rip. Alright. Oh wow. I broke it. For those of you out in Streamland, this is Bronze Bootcamp. This is every Saturday at noon Eastern Time for players Silver 5 and below to receive feedback on how to improve their gameplay. If you're interested in doing Bronze Bootcamp or signing up, check out TrinityForceNetwork.com. I'll put a link to it in stream chat. As far as Battle Arena and Bronze Bootcamp are concerned, just head over to the Battle Arena tab. It has the times. It has a link to the sign-up sheet, which looks like this. Let it load. Alright, and it has a hyperlink to the YouTube. After Battle Arena is completed, you can head over to the Trinity Force YouTube, click videos. It'll look like this. They're labeled with the date, what it is, and which game it is, if you remember which game you played in. So definitely go check that out. Remember that we do have Battle Arena, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. Same concept as Bronze Bootcamp, but it's for Gold 1 and below. So that's good. But just check out TrinityForceNetwork.com. There's a lot of content there. There's 4 podcasts. The Proper just did a show with an Australian dude. 4 Wards just did a 3v3 episode with 2 Challenger players. And I really don't know what the other episodes are doing, but I'm sure it's interesting as well.
Also, there is the Champion Select podcast, but that's only if you are a patron, correct?
Yeah, and we may talk about Patreon before another game. Check out the LCS Rundown, though. They are doing a mini-sode at some point to talk about banned substances in the LCS. I think I may be coming on to talk about ancient Egyptian magic in the Millennium Puzzle. So, that should be interesting. Forgot this is Twitch chat and not Slack. Alright, so picks bans, pretty standard. Cho'Gath and Yasuo are kind of strange to me, but the rest is pretty normal.
Like, yeah, the only Cho'Gath is, if you're gonna ban him, I don't know. I guess he does counter Katarina a bit. He can interrupt her pretty easily.
I always like to look at what the first pick picks when they ban something weird.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the thought process of banning Trundle. I mean, banning Cho'Gath when you're gonna pick Trundle top. It's not like Trundle really struggles against Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Trundle actually does really well against Cho'Gath.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Cho actually beats Katarina really badly, but second pick wasn't banning.
Maybe second pick was very, very vocal about their.
I don't know why you pick Riven into Trundle either.
Yeah?
It's not a great lane for Riven. Trundle can just like rush Frozen Heart in that lane and like do okay. Yeah. 5,000-year-old Egyptian pharaoh. Cho'Gath is still a big booty Judy, I guess. So we'll take a second to talk about Patreon for those of you out in Streamland. And I'll go back to the regular scene so you guys can see client. But you just head over to TrinityForceNetwork.com. There's a lot of buttons. Just feel free to click everything here. But it's the Patreon button. Let it load. Wow. Adam needs to get hosting for Patreon. $10 or more per month. This is the most popular one by far. The Champion Select podcast. They interview a Masters or Challenger player usually and get feedback on like one specific champion. So if you ever wanted like a 1 hour breakdown, this is something to check out. I believe they've done Corki, Morgana, Nunu, and what was the last one? Aurelia.
Yeah.
Alright.
But the Corki one was cool because they had Latman who actually played in the LCS for a bit as a sub. They had him on to discuss the champion and how to play him well. That was really awesome.
And at $25 more per month, if you want one-on-one coaching and you don't feel like you're getting enough from the 5v5 setup in Battle Arena, and I'm sorry, but it's hard to cover 10 people. This is pretty popular as well, and a lot of good feedback for anybody who's gotten the $25 or $50. So I would check all of that out.
I see Frown is trying to play Bard up to the expectations that I have set for him, for Bard, I guess.
And speaking of Frown Power, sorry for those of you in Streamland, I was talking about the wrong scenes. We are having a tournament. I should actually pull that up. It's going to be Battle of the Bridge or Battle of the Butcher Bridge or something.
Yep.
Let me pull up my Reddit and make sure there are no incriminating comments. Alright. So, go to the T-Force Reddit, reddit/r T-Force Network. Here's the link. The first one, T-Force Tournament Beat Down on the Bridge. You click it, and then you register. So unregister, register. It'll say sign up as a team, but you just sign up as an individual person, I believe. I'm not really entirely sure how that goes, but I signed up as a person. Because we are doing a format where we pick captains, and the captains will draft people. So that should be interesting. Let's take a minute to talk about the game.
The actual game.
So, as far as lanes are concerned, what do we have?
Ziggs versus Katarina in mid lane. And it's I feel like Katarina she has the ability to dodge a lot of Ziggs' abilities, not just because of her little blink there, her Shenpo, but also her W. If it hits a champion, she gets a significant speed boost. So she has the ability to outplay Ziggs in mid lane, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, a lot of the times the mid lane matchup is jungle dependent, and like this isn't a great matchup for Kat. Udyr really struggles to gank Ziggs, and she has to rely on like holding her own for a period of time. And Nidalee is pretty good at ganking Katarina if Ziggs like freezes near his tower as well. If Ziggs just pushes, which I'm expecting he probably will, it's not as easy lane for Ziggs because Udyr can gank him. But if Ziggs does what he should do in this matchup and freezes near his tower, it's pretty easy. And Cat's really easy to freeze on because you like know how much her Q is going to do every time. And she can't really do that much more than Q because she walks up to auto and break freeze. She just eats spells. But top lane, Riven versus Trundle. I used to play Trundle top a decent amount in season like 3. And I've played some Riven this season. I've played Trundle once or twice. If Trundle goes full tank, it's a hard lane for Riven. Because anytime Riven ults, he can just pillar and chill. It's like a really hard lane for Riven.
Yeah.
He can even, if he's feeling really confident, he can go Glacial into damage. But if Trundle doesn't go armor first and he gets cheesed, and he loses like 1 kill, it can start to be a really bad lane.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, Riven took teleport, which is fine, but a lot of Trundle's power from his ultimate is all that health he just kind of just saps away, and without that ignite, he's just going to be able to through a lot of that damage, especially if he goes tank early.
So, Orca, how many minutes prior do you start adding people? I usually do it like 10 minutes before, 5 if I'm really busy. Others do it at 5. If you want to guarantee your spot, the most important thing is just to make sure you're signed up on the sign-up sheet, and that's over at TrinityForceNetwork.com under the Battle Arena tab. So
also speak up in like Twitch chat as well. That's one of the more, if we're looking for people to fill a spot, that's one of the first places we look.
So, jungle matchup, Udyr versus Nidalee. Basically, all Nidalee has to do in this matchup is avoid 2v2s. She has more pressure early game, as long as like she doesn't get killed by Udyr. Udyr has a hard time killing her because she can jump over walls and he can't. Really need to make sure anytime she's doing a camp, she's hugging a wall so she can hop it. That's pretty important anytime you're playing like a jungle you may get invaded. But the sign-up sheet was full today. DH Holy, if you want to play in game 2 or 3, just put your IG in and chat. One of us will write it down and we'll make sure that we get in. But the sign-up sheet does fill up pretty fast, so just hop on it early. But Udyr's tanky late game. Nidalee outscales, but you need to be able to play Nidalee to outscale. Like, if you get one shot and you don't know how to play in Cougar, or you are missing spears, she's difficult. But, I don't know. Like, it's a matchup Nidalee should win just because Nidalee's broken right now, but Nidalee's also really hard to play, so I don't know. Lucian with Ignite. I'll talk about that for a second. So Ignite's a little stronger in lane. Most AD carries do take heal. Ignite kind of counters heal. But wow, that's not working. None of my scenes. Why are my scenes breaking all the time? Alright, sorry for that stream. OBS issues. So, Ignite counters heal a little bit in lane, but after lane phase, not having heal on your AD carry is pretty difficult. Ignite has a short cast range, 500 or 600, and a lot of times in team fights, like, you don't want to be getting into that range on an AD carry, and once you get into that range, you're already, like, dealing enough damage that Ignite's just a finisher or overkill. I don't know. Like, I don't think Ignite on AD carry is very useful.
It's usually not.
But
well, yeah, I think one of the things that is brought up most in bot lane while you bring heals that it not only can save you, it can save your support as well. It's overall just more useful, I feel like.
order.
Having Nautilus take the long ignite can be handy. But
Yes. Alright, hopefully this scene works. I don't know why OBS has been having so many issues lately. It's pretty close. I'll have to resize my chat at some point. Yeah, scenes please indeed. Bot lane, I'll run down it quickly. So, Lucian has to engage to do anything in lane, and Braum has pretty good disengage. Shows like, as long as Braum isn't missing his Qs and Caitlyn autos Q target, and kind of outranges the other target, it's fine. So like if not engages here, Braum just Qs not, and then Kate makes sure to like get into a spot where she can hit not, but Lucian can't hit her. And if Lucian wants to hit her, he has to E forward, and then like Braum just deals with that by exhausting. But Kate Braum should win this lane pretty easily. The only way they lose is if like Kate misplays and starts eating damage. But that's a lot of Kate lanes. So, looking at runes and masteries. Nothing that stands out to me too much. Nidley has a pretty normal page. She's MR Blues. I don't run MR Blues on Nidley, but they're not bad. I don't think they make a lot of sense against Dude Trundle. I'd be running like flat AP just to help clear, or like scaling CDR or scaling AP.
I don't know what Caitlyn's doing.
Or scaling MR isn't that bad sometimes, because it gives you magic resist on Italy, but it lets you not have to build Abyssal. Abyssal's pretty nice though, it gives you so much burst in Cougar form.
What do you think about the cloth 5-star on Trundle?
I don't see the point. I think that you're playing... I don't know. I would just do Camp Start and do like Blade 5 pot or Shield 5 pot. I really don't see Cloth 5 anymore because of how strong Camp Start is.
Yeah.
I think if you really don't want to do Camp Start, and the reason behind not doing Camp Start here is to not get ganked by Nidley. And if you do get ganked, if you do a Camp Start and you get ganked, you can like lose lane if you're not paying attention. But Trundle should just kill her. So Trundle really needs to make sure he's like auto Q autoing. And if he auto Q'd autoed once more, he would have killed Riven. But he was a little scared. Riven also is like 100 health lower right now, but right when she hit 2, she probably could have killed Trundle. Remember, like, if you're in top lane, especially if you're playing Riven or Rengar or something, even if you have 100 less health, if you hit 2 first, you can usually kill them. What did she take? Oh, she took W. That's so, like, Trundle traded with Riven on top of her creeps right there. Riven needed to at least auto back. I think she still would have lost the trade, but getting damage in when you lose a trade is pretty important, especially when they're on top of your creeps, because they can't keep trading if you just auto and orb walk backwards. But if you take free harass, you take free harass. So what do the rest of the lanes look like? It looks like Braum and Kate got chunked quite a bit. And Not's full health. So does Lucian have pot? No, Lucian doesn't have pot or heal. I really don't know. I think they could get hit 3 and then just cheese with Lucian Ignite.
That's already on cooldown.
Maybe.
Oh, it is. Rip.
Oh.
Alright, no, they probably lost lane. Kate has heal. That's the biggest thing when you pay attention to early 2v2's bot lane, is thinking about summoners. I wasn't playing bot lane a lot in ranked. I was kind of doing it as Phil, and I got baited out by summoners a couple of times, just because I wasn't thinking about it. It's pretty important though. This is good. This is where Ziggs wants lane. The only issue is he killed us as fast as he could have. He had 3 creeps right here, and he could have frozen really easily. He can still freeze if he wants to because Katarina's pushing the waves so hard. But that's good. He just really needs to look to harass Cat. He still has both of his biscuits, so he can even take some creep damage when he harasses.
Oh, that flash! Whoa.
Rip Kate.
Yeah, Lucian just flashed right over a Piltover Peacemaker for the kill. Wow. Alright.
That is something you have to worry about in Kate. If you use your Q and you're in range to die, you need to, like, probably not use Q. So it's not just a lane thing. A lot of times we see it in teamfight more than lane. But if you can get killed using, yeah, no, Q makes you stand still for a long time. TLDR.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why, like, it's kind of okay to use in teamfights really early in the game. But once mid-game rolls around, you want to be very careful when deciding when to Q, because not only does it make you immobile, it kind of almost reduces your DPS for a team fight.
Yeah, especially once you've crit. Like, once you've crit, it's a huge DPS loss.
Yeah.
Before you've crit, it's iffy. Trundle is Warden's Mail though, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's really hard for Riven to deal with Trundle. And one of the reasons Warden's Mail or a resist item when you're struggling in lane, or in a hard lane as Trundle's really strong, is he gets free health and resists, but a lot of free health from his passive, and a little bit of health and resist from his ult. Anytime you have a lot of sustain, resists go a long way.
You want to, like, promote trading? Almost.
Yeah. Well, like, that health you're getting from that sustain becomes more effective.
Yeah.
And that Trundle Q too, like the amount of like AD he robs just by chomping Riven really hurts her trade potential too. So yeah, Trundle just gets a lot of just free stats from casting just spells like that.
I don't know how much I like that engage though. Like, so, it seems good when you think about it, but he didn't have a ward or any vision or any idea of where Nidalee was.
Yeah. I do want to point out there has been very little jungle pressure mid.
There's been very little jungle pressure, period.
And almost as a result, like, Ziggs is being pushed back into his turret and he can't really do anything. He's at a severe disadvantage right now.
Well, the Bronchu, yeah.
Oh, going on that. Oh well.
So, like, when that happens, either Kate reacts fast and you kill Nidalee, or if Kate doesn't react fast, you just chill at your tower. I don't see why you just fight a 2v3 there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Kate 2, I don't know how much gold you had when you recalled. I would just go longsword. I think double Doran's boots.
Oh, Cat, your team is not followed up. I do not recommend going in.
Too late.
Yeah. Oh!
So, like, when you're playing against Katarina or Kha'Zix or a reset champion, you really need to respect resets. And not only did Nidalee kill herself there because she didn't respect Katarina damage, she almost killed Lucian because she didn't respect reset potential. So it's not just like, normally if you mess up like that and you're greedy on a kill that your team is already going to get, you die. But if you're playing a reset champion and you don't respect resets, you like begin to kill your teammates too.
It can lose a whole team fight very, very quickly, especially, yeah, Katarina is, ugh.
So Udyr just rushed Devour. I'm not as big a fan of Devour on Udyr, or like other bruiser champions for the most part.
Yeah, the only one, I don't know, I've seen a little bit of it on Vi, and I've seen it on Xin Zhao too, and it kind of works pretty well on him, to be honest.
I think it's fun to build on them, but like the ones I've seen solo queue, I don't know.
Knock up in 2 hits, though, man.
Knock up in 2 hits.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, when are those champions strong? Why do you pick Xin Zhao or Vi
Early game, yeah.
instead of a late game champion?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes them not fall off as hard, but it also makes them, like, not fall off as hard because they were never that high to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, Katarina.
Lucian and Flash. No. Huh. That's interesting. I don't really understand why Lucian's mid right now. It's good to deal with Cat, but he's letting Kate catch up for no reason. I also don't think rushing Brutalizer is good on any AD carry.
Yeah, it's a while ago. It was almost it was a pretty good build on Lucian not too long ago, but then they kind of revamped Bloodthirster.
Well, it was always second.
Yeah.
You never got brute first.
Yeah.
So like, though some people go brute first and like they want to try and get Ghostblade first. Ghostblade gives you like attack speed and crit. Attack speed and crit doesn't matter that much if you're not dealing damage to begin with. Like, you need AD to
like
make
first,
those stats.
yeah, it'd be like first buying a seal. It's just those 2 stats, they don't do terribly well by themselves, but when you add them to, say, an Infinity Edge, that's when they really start to be more effective.
So Cat stayed in lane there, really understanding how much damage the other champion deals.
Oh, looks like we're gonna get a gank top. A good lane to gank, actually, to tell the truth.
Yeah, this Chunlo's really far ahead. We're not seeing it much because he's sitting on a ton of gold right now, but we will.
Right.
So I don't know why Riven flashed right there, what she's trying to flash. It's
She's
really
trying to
hard.
flash over that wall. It's the hardest wall to flash over.
The only way you can flash it is sitting on one of the edges and like trying to flash the edge. You can't flash.
You can go
the
right in the middle and then kind of go south of that tree there. It's possible, but it's not very high. It's
well,
like
you're still
vein.
going to an edge. You're just going to the edge from at the end instead of the beginning. Yeah. You can't flash through the thick.
No.
Alright, so Fountain hasn't backed yet. He's sitting on 1,000 gold. I think, like, when Lucian went mid there, him and Kate wanted to shove and recall. I know why this Kate is staying. She's staying. She's, like, typing out, I need to stay for BF. It's better to have, like, control of the lane and not be down items, because, like, Not and Lucian could be killing you right now, or they should be. I would just, like, push that back, get a Sightstone on Braum, and get a pickaxe and a longsword. On Kate, too, you really need to try and be as strong as you can, like, all the time. And a lot of times that is just buying pickaxe, longsword, and recalling.
Oh, don't run back for it, NK.
Too late. Oh, where's it? Good exhaust.
Oh.
Don't run back in front.
Oh, reset city.
Oh.
Ow.
Rip.
Good roam.
Huh, nice roam by Cat.
So this is pretty important by Nid. A lot of times when you go to gank, and this is something... Ooh. I do a lot, but I don't see other people do a lot. If you have a ward in your inventory, drop the ward behind yourself when you go to gank. And drop it deeper than you normally would, so you can see if somebody's going to counter gank. Nidley had 2 wards in her inventory there, and if she would have dropped one in Dragon Pit, not only would she have vision, if like somebody tries to sneak Dragon, she'd have vision of Katarina counter ganking there. That's kind of on her, more than anything. That flash to wood jump. But Chunda's got the heart, like, I don't really see how Riven comes back.
I would have liked him after Frozen Heart was finished, him going to Tiamat and just start really shoving lane and just putting that gold lead elsewhere. Like, Blade the Rune King's fine, but, like, Riven's got great shoving potential even when she's behind. And shove a lane and then try and do something later, while Trundle's having to kind of auto-tech every minion on that wave.
Yeah, I think what basically he's going with this build is he's gonna just look to stay in lane even longer and duel and kill Riven when he gets the chance. If he had gone T-Mat, that'd be more of like, I'm gonna push into your tower, take it quickly, and then roam out and help the rest of my team. But
So, alright, let's look for this. So, Bork is better for split pushing, Tiamat's better for shoving and grouping with your team. And we have to look at the mid laners to see like which decisions, right? He is Katarina, so like neither side of a 4v5 is that favorable for him. Because they have Ziggs wave clear if they have 4, or they have Ziggs wave clear if they're sieging as 5. If you're playing against the Ziggs, like you don't go split push here. But that would have been better.
Keeping the pressure up and pushing in this lane is what he's got to do. Big team invade there.
That was good. I think a lot of that has to do with vision. If I pull vision up. Blues is actually not terrible. But Reds is a little bit better. I think one of the biggest notes is like when I see a game like this, vision control is relatively decent. I see people buying greens and pinks and stuff. When I watch you guys play normal and ranked, I don't see this a lot of time. So remember that like I know you're doing well right now because we're watching it, but we're like not just telling you to ward just to ward. This is like stuff you need to be doing in ranked as well. Alright, Riven.
Oh wow.
Can Riven use third Q over a pillar?
I think so, yeah.
I've never tried it on Riven. I've been in a couple situations where I've had the chance to, but if I miss it, I die, so I just don't go for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure her third hop actually goes over a pillar. Unless she's hopping and then he throws the pillar up and it actually, I think, interrupts it. It's really weird.
Trundle pillar is interesting like that. If you do use it, like, right before somebody uses a movement ability, they just don't move. Like, if you pillar right when somebody flashes, or if somebody tries to flash on a pillar, it works like a wall. And you know, like, if somebody tries to flash through the middle of this wall, they just don't move. Well, if somebody tries to flash over a wall onto a pillar, they don't move too.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy pillar outplays. So Udyr's going for the Bork second. It's okay because Trundle's as far ahead as he is. And the other team just doesn't have that much damage.
There it is. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Nearly needs.
Oh.
I think Trundle should just fight them. He might die, but he might be able to burst Nid.
Oh,
wow.
That pillar.
Broken.
Oh. Pillar mechanics. Up.
So Trundle, I would really try and sidestep a little bit there. If you would have gotten like enough time to get a second W off, you probably would have lived. Just like you walked in a straight line and ate like 4 skill shots. Remember that most people throw skill shots so that you'll like run in a straight line. So just like click right or left of your character sporadically when you're running like that. If you would have dodged Nid Spear, you would have lived. I didn't really see like an attempt to dodge.
Yeah.
Nidlee's going Abyssal second. I'm not really a huge fan of this. I think she should go tier into something else. The only AP damage the other team really has is, I guess, Udyr. Is he Tiger or Phoenix? I guess Udyr is like half magic damage and Cat's magic, but that's not a lot.
Yeah.
Nidalee's difficult though. She doesn't like scale. She scales really well if you're ahead, and you should be ahead because of how hard she can pressure early. But if you're behind, she actually doesn't scale very well. So, question chat by Sokotep: how does the boot camp work? You sign up at somebody can link to the sign up sheet, and it's for players bronze 5 and below. You receive feedback on your gameplay, and the videos are uploaded to YouTube. There's a little bit more to it than that, but the game is going on right now. RP Riven.
Alright. So Riven, if you're gonna be that aggressive, You really do need to have the river warded or the tribush warded there.
Yeah.
Riven's in a difficult position. You can still come back from games you lose lane as a Riven, but you kind of turn into like a flash W ult bot in team fights.
That. There we go. Oh.
This is difficult though. The cat's got Ludens now too. Ludens is really annoying on cat because it's 10% move speed now. She's so hard to hit.
Yeah.
I still don't think cat's that good, but wow. Alright, so Riven, you should probably just let that tower die. And it kind of comes down to the fact that like Riven and Nidalee are strong because they are good early game, and when they snowball, they're really strong. And even when they're even, like if you can play the champion well, they're very hard to deal with sometimes. But if you're playing a champion like that and you fall behind, like they can be very weak. Most snowball champions in general, if you fall behind on them, they're not the best, especially if you're not comfortable with them. Wow, look at this Trundle. This Lucian is just auto-attacking him over and over.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Does not care.
Jeez. Oh, very aggressive there. Yeah.
And that's why Trundle's such a pain to deal with. Like, once he gets some resistances, he can sustain so well. And if he gets ahead, he just builds Frozen Heart, Spirit Visage, and becomes a raid boss.
Yeah, I think the heart is... I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Ziggs is going Ludens second. So, I like the Ludens by Cat. When they changed Ludens, they've done like 2 changes recently. One, they nerfed how quickly it stacks on spells. Pretty big nerf for control mages, not a huge nerf for assassins, because they're relying more on the move speed for procs. And the other change to Ludens is they reduced the AP and gave it more move speed. Once again, doesn't help control mages as much because you're kind of using your range and not your move speed as much in team fights. But pretty neutral for assassins. So, like, Ziggs is a control mage, and he's not getting a lot from Ludens here. I would probably just build Death Cap. Cap takes longer to scale, but like once you get it, you're really strong. Whereas when you get Ludens here, you're not going to have Cap Void for like 43 minutes. Exactly. Like, if you had a Blasting Rod there instead of Aether Wisp, Caitlyn died.
Yeah. So, that's a Wit's End Udyr, not a Bork Udyr.
I like the Wits here. He's playing Nidalee Ziggs, and the Riven and Lucian aren't doing that well. Yeah. Not support does mostly magic damage too.
Yeah, I was gonna looks like Braum is building Aegis, so that's the proper build item there, I feel like.
So what does he have? Yeah, Aegis is pretty good. The other team doesn't have a lot of hard CC, which makes it good.
Whoa.
He could go Targons. Like, I wouldn't mind a Targons rush if I had Katarina on my team. But this channel doesn't give 2 shits. Alright, so for blue team, if I'm looking to come back here, probably looking to stall the Ziggs and trying to get some farm on other people. Then when your Riven does have flash in a team fight, like flashing Caitlyn or Katarina, you can come back. Like, the biggest things you have to do are deal with Katarina and then like hope your carries stay alive to deal with Trundle. But like probably flash W and Cats. How are you gonna deal
Trundle
with
may
him?
have bitten off more than he can chew here.
Nah, he's good too.
No.
Nope. His ultimate's too strong.
What would I buy next on Trundle? I think he could go like tanky at him, or he could go Mallet. I wouldn't mind Mallet here.
I mean, he doesn't have any magic resist, which is a little... But, yeah.
A Spirit Visage would give him that almighty 30% CDR on top of a lot of MR.
Roma would be cool too. But
just
if he... Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, just Spirit Fist synergizes so well with his kit in general.
It does.
Hex Shrinker, don't be a bitch.
There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he went Fromau, would that promote more of a split push playstyle from him? Or
A lot of these times in team fights, like, he wants to stick to people a little harder than he can right now.
Alright.
I'm making Mallet a little more than I have been before.
I don't know.
It's one of those items that you build when, like, you don't have anything else you have to build. And he doesn't have to build MR here.
Yeah, he doesn't have to build MR, but I feel like there's just better pickups for, like, if he wants to be more mobile and stick on targets, like, you might as well just kind of, you know, go buy the farm on it and go Trinity Force. Just
What's
get the
he
movement
playing
speed from
against? Let me
Page.
look. Yeah, you could go Hex Shrinker into tank item, or you could go Hex Shrinker into Mallet here.
Yeah.
Or you could go like Spirit Visage, you could just get tank item. He's got a lot of builds, it really, like, when you're this tanky and you're this hard to deal with, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. Got my stats.
How does Trundle scale with AP?
Not great. I mean, it's off his ultimate, so that's about it.
Alright, no, that's not good. So, as far as teams go, not seeing a ton of warding out of... actually, blue team's doing pretty well, and red team's doing well as well. The wards are actually good here. The concern to me is how many wards are on the map, even though I'm not seeing a ton bot. So it probably means a lot of wards aren't being swept. But just fix that by using your sweeper, upgrading your sweeper, and remembering to smite raptors. Udyr also built a heart. Trundle already had Frozen Heart. I'm not too sure about that. Just hit tab and make sure. Hey, anytime you're thinking about building an aura item, you should be hitting tab to check. You should be hitting tab a lot, and you should have a general idea. But since I missed the 12 p.m. Bronze Bootcamp, can I be added to the 1 p.m. time? Yep, I'll make sure to invite you.
Okay.
That's how big Trundle is.
Yeah, he can go after this too if he wants.
So in this matchup, you need to either like pillar Nidlee's jump and predict it, or wait until after she uses her first escape and then pillar. If you like whiff your first pillar, it's a little more difficult. You're lucky that you're really far ahead though. As Nidlee there, like, you're not going to miss spear because he's on top of you. Just go for spear combo since you're on tower, and then like try and use jump to escape. Get damage down. I mean, you're really far behind, but you still have Sork's Abyssal. You do a little bit. And you can get your full combo off while only eating like one Trundle auto. Just like Q, go into Cougar, QW, and then like DI backwards. So like click backwards really fast. Rip.
Get the if he had gotten that kill. Oh well.
So it looks like Trundle is looking to split. I don't mind the Bork pickup in these cases. On a lot of these kills he wouldn't have been able to get with Tiamat. The difficult thing here, and this is something that will happen in a lot of these solo queue games, and if you're playing a bruiser you need to pay attention to it. You see Kate and Cat not getting a lot of farm, and Udyr is taking a lot of farm, and Trundle is too because he's split pushing. But he's mostly only taking top farm here. If your bruisers are sucking up all your farm and taxing hard, you really need to make sure you win mid game, because the other team can come back pretty hard, pretty fast. Bruisers are, I don't know, they don't do as much with items in late game team fights sometimes. If all your gold's being dropped into melee champions, you really need to be careful, and you really need to do something in the mid game, either Dragon or Baron. Like Renekton and Nasus. If champions like that get fed, you really need to do something before like carries get defensive items and 4 items and IE with PD Last Whisper and stuff like that. Lucian's got a really difficult build here, and this is kind of why you go IE before Ghostblade, so you don't get stuck with like Pickaxe, Cloak of Agility.
Yeah.
And Riven, you really want to get the team at early here. You're stuck in a difficult position where you're dying to Trundle a lot. If you would have had teammate earlier, you probably could have just shoved out lane and done stuff. But
it looks like Trundle's gonna keep split pushing top.
he is TP, so he's good.
And red team is invading bot jungle and applying pressure there. It should work out pretty well for them.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how many ward kills blue team has here. They're dying a couple of times in the jungle here, and they have some wards, but blue team has a lot of wards too. Warding at your jungle isn't, I don't know, it isn't the only thing you need to be doing when you're behind. It's almost as important, if not more important, to make sure they don't have wards in your jungle.
Don't ping Dragon right now. Take this tower and inhib. You can do that afterwards if you feel like it, but I feel like they could almost end.
Yeah, Dragon's like a win harder mechanic or a place to pick fights. Usually if you can get a tower or something. Oh, it's better. When you're really far ahead, towers become worth quite a bit more when you can take them though. Because Dragon no longer becomes a place to really pick fights. It's just something you like farm when you can.
Yeah.
That being said, Dragon does get bonus EXP when the other team is behind. So it's really important to deny that. If you're up like 3 dragons to 0, making sure the other team doesn't get a dragon, not only are you denying that buff, you're denying a lot of EXP. And teams don't think about it, and this is like something that irks me a little bit. If you're watching this like you'd watch LCS or something like that, they talk about gold lead a lot, and you can say, oh, they have a 13.5k gold lead or blah blah blah. Like the biggest thing in this game isn't gold lead, it's EXP lead. Udyr has 2 levels, Kate has 1 level, Brahms even, Trundle has 1 level. I don't know. Every level you get a point in a skill, which is like usually 30 to 50 damage every time you press that skill and a cooldown reduction. You get health, you get armor, some chance to get magic resist, you get health regen, you get attack speed per level. Levels are worth a lot. So Trundle did go for that Spirit Visage. That's good.
Yeah.
Ooh, he could have bought Wits too. Forgot about Wits. I like Hex Shrinker better. I actually think Maw is really underrated. I've been seeing a lot more Maw lately.
Yeah, he's just so far ahead. I think he just build whatever he wants. This game's pretty over.
Cat got Hourglass too. That's a good buy. Alright,
So what they could do is probably just all push down one lane if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I think they just need to walk in.
Yeah.
5 walk in, finish
They
this.
could have Trundle split push again, just get those Baron empowered minions going, but
I'm disappointed Trundle didn't buy Banner. Wow, Trundle bought Iron too. What the hell? I mean, that's not a bad thing. I'm just surprised. So, like, that is exactly what they need to be doing. I think this Trundle is the perfect example. Last recall, you need to be buying an elixir if you 3 inhibs down, because you shouldn't be pushing again. Cat bought an elixir too, wow.
Like they're listening to you, Horse.
Yeah, somebody probably typed in the chat, you guys need to buy elixirs. They're going a little too ham here, though.
Yeah.
yeah. They don't have all their damage dealers.
Or their wall.
RIP.
There he is.
I really hope next season they remove Dangerous Game. Maybe not, like it makes for the most crazy outplays ever, but it's kind of an unfun mechanic.
Would you like it to be an even more dangerous game?
I don't know how you make Dangerous Game more dangerous.
Solo kills only, no assists.
Yeah, so only solo kills. I actually wouldn't mind that. That'd be interesting. Alright, so a good game for everyone who played. Keep your eyes out for game 2. The sign-up sheet will be going out like halfway through, talking about what happened to this game. But for people who are new, I'm Astrom, just joined. Oh, alright, so make sure Astrom and Orcabite get an invite when invites do go out.
Astrom was the Katarina in that game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, we looking at the game. If you look at gold lead, pretty close for a while. Once again, we talked about neither of the junglers really doing a lot, and that's kind of what happened here. But red team did eventually snowball. The key points I want to look at are CS. The cat did pretty well relative to the Ziggs. Fell a little behind once she started roaming more, but she's up by a lot in lane, and like as Ziggs, you need to have a CS lead at 10 minutes. A pretty big one on Katarina, probably like 20 to 25. Let's see Warden. The losing team actually placed quite a few wards here and cleared a decent amount. This is rough. The winning team placed quite a few less wards, but Braum did place 6 pinks, which is pretty big. I guess not placed 4 pinks. 9 ward kills by Nid's pretty good. They actually killed 16, 18, 20 wards, and the other team, they probably killed like a third of the wards that are placed. So even though they lost, they did a decent job with vision control. Their comp is pretty iffy though. Like they had Riven, Lucian, Nidalee, and we didn't talk about win conditions, and I don't talk about win conditions as much for Battle Arena. But if you have like Lucian, Nidalee, Riven, you can't lose early game. So that's like more what happened than anything.
Yeah, like around the 12-minute mark, the gold was still pretty even. Like I'm looking at the team gold advantage and.
So, give each person a couple of things to work on. Ziggs, you really need to practice freezing near your tower. Katarina gave you some time to freeze near your tower. Her Shunpo does, I don't know, like a 6th or a 7th of every minion's health. But it doesn't push like that because once you kill one creep, it pushes much faster. And casters don't, like, push differently until they actually die. A caster creep with 10% pushes as much as a caster with full. So you kind of have to like feel it out, and there will be some trial and error, especially against a champion like Katarina. But you like need to actually try to do it before you can feel it out. So like practice freezing near your tower so you don't get ganked. Item build, shouldn't be building Ludens on Ziggs anymore, especially if you're behind. I think death cap is quite a bit better. Anything else? And like you should have like a much bigger CS lead on Katarina. You were using a lot of your spells to CS and a lot of your autos to CS, but like when the creeps weren't actually low enough to CS, just to like attack the minions. Yeah, as Ziggs, like it's really up to you to just punish Katarina in this matchup. When she comes to land with boots and 4 pots, she's a little hard to push out, but you really need to do it because you need to make sure you burn all those 4 pots. Because if she has to come back to lane next time with another 4 pots and another 4 pots, she continues to fall really far behind. But if you can't get all 4 of those pots in like 5 or 10 CS early, she'll like back with 2 of them or only have to buy 1 more. And you don't punish her item buys as much. So, anybody see anything for Nautilus?
I don't know. That lane was kind of an interesting lane, just in the laning phase of what I saw, because it's Nautilus into Braum. Nautilus likes to all-in engage, and Braum's more of a disengaged sort of set up a big wall champion. I know there's a lot of skirmishing going on. And the lane itself kind of becomes a little bit different when your Lucian has an ignite. So, I don't know. Early on it was kind of difficult, and towards the mid to late game is even more difficult. There weren't a whole lot of opportunities to pick. I would say like your biggest opportunity was to make sure that Katarina didn't like throw all of her damage out. I'd almost say exclusively all of your ultimates should have been for Katarina once she started getting ahead and started snowballing. But you got your upgraded sweeper, you got your sightstone, face the mountain, you got all the items you wanted to get. I don't know. There's not much to say. There's not much I saw like right off the bat, to be completely honest. I think a lot of this was just the Trundle Katarina show.
I think initially when you guys got chunked in lane and Lucian lost exhaust, there's a period where Lucian was like half health and you were full health, and lane was relatively frozen, and you could have punished really hard there. He didn't, and then like your Lucian ate a Peacemaker, and you guys started to get shoved back in the tower. When you play a lane like Caitlyn lane, and you end up like, you have a pretty favorable trade, and you're still at full health, you need to punish Caitlyn before like she harasses your AD carry. And like in that lane, I would hit tab, I would see my Lucian at half health with no red pot, and I would see them both at half health and myself at full health, and I would probably try and do something. before like Caitlyn can abuse the fact that my AD carries half health with no red pot now. But that's just kind of how Caitlyn plays. Warding was decent though. I would say most of it was just being a little too scared in lane.
Yeah.
Even if you're like afraid you can't hit Q on Kate, if you have flash, you can flash auto, and as long as Caitlyn isn't too close to her wave, you can Q after she flashes. You can bait a lot of stuff like that as Nautilus support. You flash flash passive's really underrated, and I don't see it a lot. But you flash passive, and then like when they flash away or start to walk away, you just hook. Or like if they start to walk away, you E. If they flash away, you hook into E. If they walk away, you E, and then when they flash, you Q because they're still slowed by E. But that's kind of how you play it. All right. So Riven. You had, if you go back and watch it, you were down 100. You were down 100 health, so it's probably like 350 health to 450 health or something. But you hit 2 first. You hit 2 creeps below Trundle, and you didn't do anything with it. That's like the point in which you lost lane. If you hit 2 first on Riven, it doesn't really matter what the matchup is. You need to be going ham on the person, and you need to be walking forward when you hit 2. Like the biggest thing to Lucian is, Riven is abusing level 2, level 3, and level 6. Anytime you hit a level threshold faster. And when you start to lose lane, like badly on Riven, don't be afraid to Ninja Tabbies could have helped you some in this matchup, although I probably still would have gone CDR boots. B, just get Tiamat. Armor Pin doesn't really matter that much because you can no longer kill Trundle once you fall behind in lane. Tiamat will let you push out lane and start to affect other lanes. You need to decide what point am I at where I can no longer kill Trundle, no matter what I do. And if you continue to fight Trundle at that point, you won't do anything. But you can still come back in the game by killing Trundle's teammates. So get Tiamat, shove lane. And level 2 you need to be pressuring much harder. You hit 2 first with 100 health. And you went W too. If you hit 2 first, or if you hit 2 at the same time and you really want to play lane passively, you go E. If you go W, that means I'm killing the guy. And if you hit 2 first with W and you don't do anything with it, you're gonna lose a lot of trades because W is not as good as E in those trades as well. So Nidalee, another champion I play a lot. Jungle Nidalee's pretty bad if you don't pressure. She scales well with items, but you need to hit those items faster than your opponent. You rushed Abyssal against a team that really didn't have much AP. I don't really understand that too much. As far as jungle clear, you stayed on the map with low health a lot, and you didn't really go for any ganks. If your lanes are alright, so if the other team is pushing lanes, you gank. If your lanes are pushed and you can't gank, you buy wards, you invade Udyr's jungle, and you drop wards and start taking camps. And if you see Udyr, you can get away because you're Nidalee. And honestly, if Udyr goes Devour, you can one-shot him on Nidalee once you get Ringglaive, or pretty close to it. And if your lanes are pushed, they'll be following up faster. But your lanes weren't really pushed this game. A lot of your lanes were getting pushed against, and you probably should have just been ganking. But if the other team pushes, you gank on Nidalee, Udyr, people who can invade. And if your lanes push, you invade and you ward out and you try and pressure the other jungle. Lucian, don't rush Ghostblade. Get Scrying Orb. Take heal. There's a lot of stuff. Anybody see anything else that stuck out a ton for Lucian? I didn't watch bot lane too much this game.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it all that much either. I mean, I think his itemization could probably use some improvement. Scrying Guard would be great.
He was looking to flank a lot in team fights I saw, and that's fine. That works. It might put him in a difficult position if the enemy team had warded a bit better and seen him isolated, but I didn't notice anything else really too much. He had some pretty good ultimates. I thought he used those pretty well.
So Trundle did well in lane. I would say there's a couple points you could have killed Riven and you didn't understand how much damage you actually dealt on Trundle. One specific time she's at 150 and you could have auto-queued autoed. I can't remember exactly when that was in lane. But as far as pillar usage goes, you need to use it to predict a move speed ability like third Q on Riven, E on Riven, jump on Nidalee, or you can hold it and not use it to predict and just like stick it on them and stick the pillar in front of them, so like this they have to walk around the sticky part or get out of it after they use that escape ability. But you don't just like want to be throwing pillar down randomly before they use an escape ability. Just run up to them with your W. You can, like, if it's a really short escape ability and you're just looking for a couple autos to trade and you mana to spare, it's not bad. But you could think about pillar usage a little more than you did. Itemization was good. I think your goal this game was to split push, so the Bork was fine. We weren't too sure about that, but you really could have got punished a lot more than you did. They had Ziggs, and like split pushing when Ziggs is on either team is really difficult. I guess if Ziggs is on your team, it's not bad. But if Ziggs is on the enemy team, it's usually not good. Because if Ziggs is on your team, you can defend 4v5 well. But like, if you look at, if your team has to 4v5, your only wave clear is Caitlyn. Like, Udyr's melee and Katarina's melee. I guess Luden's cat isn't the worst, but Udyr. Both junglers in general, just you really need to look to pressure the map a lot more early game. I didn't see any ganks really until 8 minutes. I didn't see anyone going into the other person's jungle and like trying to pressure the other person to invade. This is like a huge skill matchup, so either of you could have been in the other person's jungle or warding the person out or trying to 2v2 or counter gank. You kind of just like rode winning lanes. I'm not saying you played poorly, but you did just show up to lanes that won and like abused Riven, who's already losing. And you got a lot of kills. I just didn't feel like you actually had that much game impact. So like, smite Raptors more. You need to have the warding totem. You should be buying more greens. Just a lot of stuff. Anybody see anything that stuck out to them a ton?
I think with like Caitlyn in particular, I don't know if you talked too much on that, but I think you should probably be a little bit more conservative with Piltover Peacemaker. I think you're just throwing them out, throw them out, and when you're burning that much mana in lane, it gives the enemy team an opportunity to engage on you, because once you're low on mana, you can't just net out, and that could be a huge problem there. You really just want to use your auto attacks to pressure. I think early on in lanes, I saw you standing like far behind your own minion wave. When you have a superior range like that on Caitlyn, just move around the map and kind of enforce that sort of dominance through your auto attack range. Because you've got a Braum too to follow you up. If Nautilus and Lucian try to engage, I think you have a fairly strong fight. Like, it's not the greatest in the world, but I also think you should try and at least use your auto attacks to pressure a little bit more.
I'm not saying you did poorly, Udyr. I'm just saying I didn't feel like you had a lot of like game impact until the first 10 minutes. Caitlyn, Kargan's touched on Piltover. I'm going to talk about Piltover a little bit. So Piltover has more range than your auto attack. A lot of time you go for autos in lane, and then when they outrange your autos, either because they're running or you're running away, you go for Piltovers. When you harass, you need to be like, your spells are all very expensive, so you need to like make sure they're doing something. So if Lucian has E, a lot of times you're not going for Piltover, because your Piltover is more expensive than his E is, and it's not that hard to dodge, because Caitlyn has the wind-up animation on Piltover. If he doesn't have E, you can go for it. In my CS video, the Dota drill is a pretty good example for that. So even if Lucian has E, when he goes to hit a creep, his character has to like delay for his auto attack animation for a second to hit that creep. That's usually when you want to be going for Piltovers. But if you're at like 200 health and Lucian has flash or E up, and you're like within range of that, you don't go for Piltover, because he can just like flash and burst you. Once again, like the wind up animation on Piltover is really long, and you always need to be aware of that. Frown power. I didn't see a lot. Like the time you fought Nidalee and River was really awkward to me. You missed quite a few ultimates mid game, but they were like win harder ultimates because your team was already winning the fight. Build was pretty good. I would have finished face first or gone Aegis face. I think face of the mountain is really strong with Katarina. If you have Cat on your team, shields are generally really strong. But that's all I really saw. I think the rest is good. And it's when your team wins that hard, it's hard for me to give too much feedback on support. I would say the one thing I would try out is if your team is winning this hard, try out Captain Boots and support. I think they're pretty strong. That new overlay covers a decent part of top line. Alright, we'll look into it. So, we forgot to say this before last game, but if anybody out there watching stream has questions about the game, I kind of cover general stuff or stuff I remember, but I have pretty good recall of the game that just happened. So, we forgot to go over Cat. Alright, Katarina, biggest things I saw. I didn't see too much, actually. You guys see anything for Cat that stuck out to you?
For Cat specifically, not a lot. I think I like the fact that she decided to roam. Like, if she was playing into a Ziggs and she wasn't really finding anything there, she used the opportunity to roam around the map. I think there were a couple situations like really early on where she's going super aggressive. I think if she were facing better players, they would have been able to punish that a little bit more effectively, and she wouldn't have gotten as much out of it as she did. But I think overall her roam was good, and then she just started snowballing.
I would say I would get Hourglass second in that matchup. They have a lot of burst, like a lot of burst. So it's kind of greedy not to. But like if you play someone like Nidalee, then Nidalee should be punishing you much more than you are.
Yeah.
Hourglass second's usually a good item on Cat. As far as roams go, you got a couple of roams off. You didn't really get punished for this either. But you roamed like on spots that easily could have been warded. The Nidalee didn't ward properly for counter gank. But I would get Sweeper as soon as you think you're going to start roaming. Like, if you roam on wards on Cat, they like either follow and kill you or you lose tower. So thought I should just snowball more though, that's why I went for the death cap. Hourglass snowball is really hard when your team is winning, because if you go in for a fight and you don't get a reset, you just press Hourglass, and a lot of times you'll get an assist, like while Hourglass is up. When you're behind, it's a little different, but when you're really far ahead and you're playing a team with burst, like Hourglass is strong, because like in case anything accidentally happens, you just press Hourglass and you usually collect assists. And it lets you engage too. Like sometimes when you're winning, it's your teammates won't engage as much as you want them to. So Hourglass just gives you a lot of options and like safety. And when your team is winning, you don't have to worry about that extra damage as much. When your team is losing, sometimes you do need to snowball more and go death cap. I think it was just like particular for this game.
Yeah.
Now I go double ward the protection if ward jumps. Is that a good choice? I think double ward's fine for ward jumps. I would buy greens. I think sweeper's really important on mid lanes that need to roam, especially when you get to Alright, so especially when you get to higher level, if you roam on wards, you get punished for it so hard. And even like if you're not getting punished for it, having the sides of river warded and being able to clear them is a really big deal, because you can shove lane when you're winning and just walk into river bush and they ping me like 5 times and freak out, and you're pressuring without roaming. Like you could literally walk back to lane, but as soon as they see you go into that bush and sweep it, they have to be scared of like shit.
Yeah. Oh, we need help here. There's Cat's here. No, I can't go ward that again. She might just kill me.
Yeah.
No. So, and again, like sweeper, it's hard to just buy wards to 75 gold a pop, where as a sweeper is one of those things, it's a very rare commodity, and your best substitute is a pink ward. So it's just better to have that sweeper. Vision denial is really important, especially when
you don't give me an invite.
I think Tuco is BRB.
BBC Open. Yeah, we should invite Odellum too. I don't know what Tuco's password is. RIP. Alright, so if anybody else has questions in chat about the game, like more specific questions than the general things we covered, I can probably answer them. Just be vocal in chat and ask for feedback on the more specific things. Because I'm going to touch on the more general things because the more general things are more important. But like, if I had an hour to go over this game, I probably could. So if you have like specific questions, do ask them. So we're just waiting for Tuco to come back. I always in Trundle last game. I watch YouTubers and they usually go Bork and tank things. Why is Bork a bad thing choice? I think Bork is a good thing choice this game. I think Bork and Tiamat are both strong items in Trundle. I think you just need to know when to build them. If your team can get sieged on like really hard and you can't split push, the Bork is difficult to buy. But
I normally when I play in solo queue and I'm dealing with like a late matchup where the opponent can really shove a wave pretty hard into me. Because one of Trundle's bigger weaknesses in lane is enemy champions that can shove harder than he can, which is a lot. Examples are kind of like Maokai, maybe Cho'Gath in particular. If you get shoved in really hard, it gives you some limited options in terms of when you can roam and when you can do other things. So an early Tiamat buy gives you that lane shoving potential, and if you're clearing away like super quick, it's also going to force some sort of jungle pressure on you as well. It's nice to have that wave shoving potential if you need it. If you need to be with the team and make some plays happen with your team, taking care of that minion wave and then taking a fight like down bot lane or near a dragon is a lot more beneficial and a lot easier to do with a Tiamat as opposed to a Blade of the Ruin King. If you're looking to just flat out duel the enemy top laner, like you guys have both committed to staying up top lane, then Blade of the Ruin King's fine.
So I tried one time to ward a little deeper and blue enemy said, what are some tips trying to ward? So it depends on game time. Like early game you should be warding on second buff. So at 3 or 4 minutes you should be warding on like the second buff they're going to take. So if you see bot lane pull late, like it means they started blue and you should be warding red second. So like ward around red or wraiths at like 3:30 or 4 minutes. After that, once again, warding second buff with like a 7 minute. So that's pretty important. Like you ward red around 3:30 or 4, and then you like ward red around 8 again with the green. And you do like the second time you ward red, you do a little deeper, and you do it with the green, so it does have the 3 minutes. But if you ward out second buff twice, it's good. And you can also ward out the second time the first buff comes up. So like if they start blue, you just ward the banana bush on blue side at like 3:30 or 8 minutes with the green. What do you mean about waves? Yeah, it depends what you're going for in your ward. Like, I would say usually if you can get a ward deeper on wraiths, it's better to get a ward deeper on wraiths. Especially if your jungle's winning, because you'll usually have scuttle control. Wow, we can't even start until Tuco gets back. This is not good.
Yup.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, he said, it just says you could start without, so I don't know how long he's going to be gone. What do you mean by ways? I'm assuming you're talking about like with Tiamat as opposed to Blade the Ruin King on Trundle. What I mean is like if you have Riven who, if she's doing okay in lane, or if you're dealing with a Maokai who's got a lot of spells to clear out your minion wave before you can, that minion wave is going to go to your tower, or you're going to have to kind of tank the minion damage. What I mean is if you can take the enemy minion wave and you can clear it really quick, that means the enemy laner has to deal with it as well. And it's really useful when you hit that mid game, where like let's say a couple towers are down, and you can just go and clear out those waves, get all that CS really quick, and then go to another objective or head to mid lane and start up a siege in mid lane. It just gives you that option, and sometimes I'll pick that up a lot if I'm wanting to pick fights, more so than I want to split push. Because those pillars, once you get the handle on how well pillars work, and you're able to pick out people, you can burn a lot of summoner spells just by having a well-placed pillar.
Alright, anything else? Report Tuco. Yeah, we can't start until Tuco gets back. I'm sorry for the delay, everybody, but there's not really anything we can do about it.
We can try and remake real quick. I can screenshot everybody who's here.
I think he's gonna be back soon. I keep hoping he's gonna be back soon. You shouldn't show the password on stream.
For what?
I don't know. Seal said he knows the password. It's fine to show game password. Only bronze people can play anyway. So, looking for one more on BBC.
Probably two, because Tuco's still in Team 1.
Rip. Well, he can't even leave. Like, I don't think he really thought this through.
Nope, he did not, and we're gonna heckle him for it for a while. He is now going to be called Tuco the Bronze Bootcamp Squatter.
Yeah. Channel support, 54% win rate, Kappa. I actually think channel support's not as bad as I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it's really good on immobile laners. For example, Sivir. I think it's really good against Sivir. I've been picking Trundle Jungle into Sivir, and I've been showing up level 3 with a pillar. Forcing every flash in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. We're in a strange meta where like brand support and channel support are actually decent picks. And it kind of disturbs me. You think about it, Brand has a 2-second stun. So, like, as long as you hit the 2-second stun, it's probably a pretty strong support champion.
I'm waiting for Elise support to come back in the bot lane. They buffed her stun time. I'm waiting for that day to happen. I'm going to be unhappy when I have to deal with an Elise in the bottom lane.
Elise is actually probably pretty good right now. Because the 1.E got like a 0.5 second buff. I don't know why, dude. Like, that's such a crazy buff. And then buffing like 4 other things at once. I really question the balance team at Riot sometimes.
Ugh.
And making spiders magic damage.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Oh, fuck. Alright, so we're waiting for Tuco back. If Tuco doesn't get back in like 2 or 3 minutes, we will remake the lobby. So, just hold in there. Keep us entertained in Streamland.
We'll keep answering questions in the meantime.
Why no for Karma support? I think Karma support's an okay pick. She wins lane really hard. The issue with Karma support is like, if you don't win lane, she's one of the worst supports in the game. If like to play from behind. And usually, like, you take a melee support, you always take the risk of the melee support being hard to play from behind. But if you think of, like, the pool of viable range supports, I don't know, Nami, Sona, Janna, Karma's by far the worst one to play from behind.
Yeah, it's when... I think, like, the biggest problem that comes with Karma support is, like, her only really powerful crowd control is through her tether. And that's still a very dangerous game you play with Karma when you use that tether. And if you guys, like you're saying before, if you're playing from behind, it's really hard to disengage fights. Like, Janna, Nami, when you're playing from behind, you still have a tidal wave, you still have Janna's ultimate hurricane or whatever it's called, to disengage fights, and that becomes very important when you're behind or ahead. And Karma doesn't have that sort of power. Hey, he's back. Good job, Tuco.
Damn, I was about to play Hearthstone stream. Rip. Orion. I don't think Orion. I think hard CC is kind of what, like, Brand is okay, and Trundle isn't hard, but Pillar's kind of broken. I think, like, what makes Trundle good and why we saw it in LCS the first time with Twisted Fate is Trundle does 2 things really well. He has really good gank assist, and he has really good disengage. So, like, I think if you're playing, like, a camp bot comp with Twisted Fate, or if you're playing a, like, poke comp, Trundle support's good.
Yeah.
I think if you're playing We Need to Win lane, or like a lanes comp, it's not good. He's back. Amen. I agree.
I don't know. Trundle's ultimate too is not something you can really underestimate. The ability to just destroy defensive stats on tanks is pretty significant.
Can't remember who's bronze here and who's not. I believe Savage Sparkles is bronze. Hawk is bronze. Seal is bronze.
I think Babao's bronze, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright, so we're looking for one more. If you're out there in Streamland, the game name is Bronze Bootcamp Game 2. When you open the custom game screen, there'll be a box at the bottom that says join private game. You click that and then you type in the password. But it looks like we are full, so this will be game 2. Rules. The rules are no TeamSpeak, no bad-mannered, and if somebody's being bad-mannered, take a screenshot and send it to us at feedback@trinityforcepodcast.com. The last rules: have fun and don't target ban people. Yeah.
Okay.
Vom is Hearthstone complicated. Alright, these look pretty good. Actually, I don't know how fair this is. Oh, TLT Hawk hit silver. So TLT Hawk he won the Battle Arena and Bronze Bootcamp MVP a little while ago, and I believe he is Bronze 4 or Bronze 5 at the time. Now he is Silver 5, so proof that you can take a lot from these games if you really want to. I used to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Will that help? Yes! Hearthstone's pretty similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! You just get that XYZ Dragon Cannon out there.
Just gotta believe in Heart of the Cards.
Yeah. Yeah, most card games are similar. As long as you can get the XYZ Dragon Cannon, it's pretty hard to lose. Alright, so into picks and bans. We're going to cut stream for about 10 seconds. Probably